Sorry. Oh, yes. Ghanaians voted for accountability, Dr. Ren. And I'm sure, sir, I don't know yet idea about as a President Mahama and making it a priority. So, or failing to do that, I'm sure, sir, he will lose the support of Ghana for Eddie Amano. Because in some way, I can't okrum hanin no. It could be saying we need to hold people accountable. Sebe ye beti me establish certain conventional your friends guidelines we be go. You send a loud message to people in his own government to say, if you mess up, you go down. That is the language Nipatias here. And yes, sir, and you leave these people off the hook. And the impression you create is that your people too are coming to steal. And you are creating a window for them to get away. And I'm sure, sir, it's one thing that Ghana for going forward, will not forgive him if he fails to do that. And answer my bad, so I think, sir, and then I make us say, Baumia has something extraordinary as a Ghana for Banabaso for his early concession. Because the men Subaya order several days after. Sanka Sunday, early Sunday morning, Baumia Marbontin and conceded defeat. Dr. Ren, I am for taking near matra. Trust me, nim the basic. Because tension was going to be so high, sir. Yanshaya and Kanema Bejin Samu. But when he did that particular concession, then the tension, everything, deflated. In as much as I may free say, or Akuffo Addo, Amobra Papa, and some of my knee, and they need to be held accountable. No? On this particular score, I think say he did well, and we need to commend him for that particular thing that he did. Then back to accountability. So we issues I can't want to say, said now okay, corruption. Say you can't say your boss were you. Now, that my last conversation, I'm no mature wire. Obama on your Ghana, who said Africa power a problem. So he came out with a power project. Fortunately, Ghana was a beneficiary. They realized Ghana for produce power number the my ECG song cotton. Power ya the man song cotton, Sikano or maybe on the 45% never. Commercial and technical losses were somewhere around 32%. So the company was not sustainable and a debt in the waste sector and also were piling up. So that particular way, no then bring in private sector participation. So because private sector no they or they near budget ne friends and ne bills. Say okay say obi nkonkwaji a ono badwene say oh aban de after man de. But these people say or private or the hu nyina behim. And they earmark about $190 million. They might say, Mumfani free, Mumfan shame. Then this tiny band of criminals, we are Akuffo Addo, the family people, fronted a company called PDS. I don't know how they got him to give them that particular saying waves. Nema bank incentives, now other way they needed to present before assurances and guarantees it was waived, and these people had the opportunity by Ghana for taxes and for every year. Your friend is a scandal. No? Till date, President Akuffo Addo entered an investigation. And America for withdraw $190 million. That was meant for us for free. That is one of the biggest scandals ahead of Akuffo Addo government. Now, Sanya way audio tapes ne way now about so what we investigate here, then power na yeto ma na mfa so be na also. Then a Japan deal. Ene Sisila da pasika na egu ne mpase. Ene was corruption in the kasa mentimi mbodin. But the bottom line is we need to make sure.
Do you think say oh yebobo corruptions? Do you think say enkonkwesa man for beka so oh we there witch hunting and then a tata political parties are and then a witch hunting and sa near Akofra a ahemfo mumbe pacho the omu ye dear umbe say well my Ghana no munko kasa your friend is any Akofra be a glowy no muswa ba munko kopacho Christian council bishops a year queen mothers don't you think say a man for best start here complaining say witch hunting and eja disasa na afide corruption cases accountability no na a die off.
Oh, menya sure. Because Dr. Ryan, so we had the outcome of this year's elections now. Give you a certain picture. The picture they say Ghana 4 have unanimously agreed. And this agreement, is backed with data, fact and statistics. Say Akuffo Addo government, outlive ne some faswa in there so outlive its usefulness. I didn't know or lose the usefulness. It's because of corrupt scandals. I see. So if you are holding people accountable, that will be a wish of the Ghanaian people. So it will never be witch hunting.
They just said the numbers are or what parliament can favor him to go after corrupt officials.
Exactly. And again, so one yes, Anna, you rather people will criticize you, and that will going to be a deciding factor in the 2028 elections. So President Mahama has no other option than to set up a committee to investigate these criminal undertakings by these people, one after the other. Memenka said, we are witch hunting. Witch hunting is when somebody has done nothing and you have decided for political reasons, you make life uncomfortable and that's all persecuting the panel. But where there is sufficient evidence to justify the fact to say, indeed, these people are committed Nema against the state, the evidence abound that it is not witch hunting. One year muma, because your constitution, committing crime, it's not just about commission or omission. So how can your criminal act now? It's not about commission, omissions and commissions. So failure to hold criminals accountable in itself is a crime. So he had no other option. And Ghanaians have agreed. They want it. You see, there always come a time. There was a time Ghanaians were calling for blood. Rawlings time. JJ, let the blood flow.
Let the blood flow.
Criminals like Akuffo Addo and his likes took over the country and they were fooling around, destroying the country in the future. Rawlings came in and blood indeed flow here. On the board, that foundation and that's for Republic may not say who you. That is a sacrifice people made. And your blood be now prison. And we need to send a strong message. I'm expecting that President Mahama will have the courage to prosecute a soft form penifona cathedral or more board of direct way no.
Hey, Pentecost for penny a year apostle or pokuina.
It doesn't matter. On son chayo bia okroma. Sanse munu na yaso okroma a man for din se munu no. He's just an individual with two legs. Other na 9-4. He's just an individual and he's not better than anybody. It is about your role, your involvement. They know the cathedral undertaking was a criminal undertaking. Akwa ya uhuna batin katinkatia na no jina son dem kusi boatin se hwan ekura mic say ono hye nkom say nyankopon ya kire na bawumia. You see why and Christianity lose the dignity because of people like this, characters like this. They are rather ridiculing God as subjecting God to public ridicule and mockery. And then here we are. So I think that when it comes to the prosecutorial options, President Mahama Wana, he has to do a lot. The first thing I'll tell him to do is to scrap the special prosecutor office. In fact, so be a liso. You don't need special prosecutor office to fight corruption. What you need is the political will. Resource your AG. Make sure you open up your friends, a regional attorney general department. Equip them with the resources and everything. Make sure that you have court available to deal with issues of political corruption and so forth. You are good to go. Some of these offices are rather put too further back. Akuffo Addo no the buy no. Ultimus all the prosecutor akoko krada.
And na the OSP kra no complain kra sa wadane ankwa no ma.
Yes, Matiamedu at the end of the day we who the kind. So it is not about special prosecutor. It is about having the political will say indeed I'll prosecute people. And I'm a catcher will be said. President Mahama nipo obefan so omeje to me biano. oba man fa ne sofo ana ne malam ni nachi ana ne krom hene eni nachi no kan kire omo say me ma otumi say me hye wani monyam kona kwhye mani monyam. If you go there and you fool around, these are the possible people you come and apologize. Oba meche watum, then you tell the chief, you tell asofo no, if you ever come here, say oba be pachawa, ubedam.
So obi bi obedi a friend is say MPBH or minister BH club be say be pacha kwa no kra ne san chi ni
ubedam. So now no me amount the opportunity to go to them, talk to them, convince them. Say adie ebegumi animase because say obi foul as a minister now koya the born a good president na animase. But the president eshe wanimonyam by trusting in you, giving you a job. So if you go there and you mess up, what gumanimase? So don't come here with a software or hene and not anybody. You know what to do. You know what to do. So you see, these are strong leadership that we need. Strong leadership. There is no blur lines. There is no ambiguity. And you know the consequences of your actions. I say, Oko Japan as I yakuzi way for no. O former winning. O call or master nanima no cra knife. What shall kokromoti as an appeal? And then you'll be never catch one now be cha or kokromoti back for appeasement. And no. Because you know, say your actions must have consequences. You do it and you go. You may try kokromoti. Well, yeah, you resign and Odo Hakoma prosecutors. America, that is what sometimes that is what happens. They one fan of one man, prosecutors by fan. We make sure say you better form. So wouldn't for fine, but would for the are. Sanya mahunu na Akuffo Addo bu na nigu so e Ghana be de aye. Na Cecilia da pa oba timinya $1 million guni dem. Ubisa na omo keka nkwasi asem kire say e na ne na ne wu ye na nsa na oboy na you have a joker on TV. Aya your friend saying but Abranti on friend saying Paul Adomochire bringing in all of silly justifications. Come on, Ghana for no gullible. Ghana for no
sure say benya businessmen for because yen ya support John Mahama nkofu ya pese okochichi wo ebi mo okro mo ye busuafo omo ye yenuanom nti emfa won san kon kaka wo mo. Onya sure say we'll get people also coming in and say oh, we've also invested in your campaign, we've supported you. Baby I will quit a hard no to wase. Unti omo and I say you should allow the institutions to work.
So when you are not strong, we are president, now we are indecisive, people will decide for you. But a strong president who is very decisive and
take your time and repeat that one again.
Me say we are president, now we are indecisive, people will decide for you. But you are a very decisive, assertive, strong-willed person with convictions intact. Trust me. Nipa no beka sa asema record ofere. Can you go to Rollins and tell him say Madam Funiben prosecuting? No? Can you do that? Can you go to Rollins and tell him say Nipa no prosecuting or Madam for? That thought will not even come to your head. Yes, because you know who he is, you know his conviction, you know your friend is saying how decisive he is. So President Mahama decided to say he will do the right thing. I'm not sure say anybody can let him back down. Because after all, you are the president. The executive authority of the nation has been given to you. You exercise it. The only time a man for betu for some men yet is when you are exercising that particular power foolishly. And I will use you and I will use you to intimidate people unjustly. But if whatever you're doing is in accordance with law, grounded in law, backed by law, and it's for the sake of good, trust me, you got to do what you have to do for the sake of the people and for the sake of this nation, because Ghana has really suffered. And right now, catch you. Now me call a big shows no beside me say. When you're sure President Mahama by expectation you're high, he will be overwhelmed because when the party don't be dinner, campaign for him, then as a form ministerial position as a form.
Honor number care about 60 a year ministerial position. No, we can call for do we or more motive, mammy for me, wherefore, who for to say former attorney general mo kofo bebre na beka no ho also befa lean government 60. When kofo bebre so amoye businessmen, they will start lobbying, don't you think? And also, me can't wait because of Onwangasani book, my first coup d'etat. I know make a point to say when it comes to decision, sometimes it's a bit indecisive. Don't you think, sir? This tasky, be daunting edi amano, be kesie pa di amano, and you sure so bit me for feeling.
I think that you see, about first, when say being president for the first time, you might be overwhelmed. But there are certain people, you have certain loyalties and allegiance, and there's some in there maybe. But in the end, send a so, and America said, Mahama or idea other people don't have. This is a guy who has had the opportunity to be president before. Or lose election. When you lose elections and you go home, everything replay in your head. The mistakes, some decisions, and so forth. And I think that now he's supposed to be a stronger person. He's supposed to be a person who knows what decision to make and what not to. And political party, nipa na beboa amwa we ne power because I have sacrifices in the nema mantie kobaya. Dr. Ren, there are several ways a president can reimburse and also betimi support such individuals omoboa no maninya to me. There are several ways you can do that, but one thing you cannot do is to sacrifice sensitive political positions for the sake of loyalties and your friend is saying nipa omoboa. The very moment you do that, one kasana wade a spoon, a two grave. Do you know how tiring it is? Your friend saying spoon mouse for 2 amena ye be see 40 days na won't me. So when you start doing that, you are digging your own grave. So I think you need to be very firm, resolute when it comes to such decisions. One thing I like about American politics is almost system be say abayno ba na olusu election na konchen na oba fofra. They try to repackage the government in such a way say people now no more old government may fail about 80% don't come back. When you fail, you go back and you come back, you re-emerge. About 80% of people in the old government, they don't come back. Do you know why you do that? You do that to tell people, say, repackage rebrand. You are bringing a new crop of people with new energy, new ideas. And it is different from the old team. Because no matter how yen and amount for a yen for you, when they see a significant number of people in the old government, at that point, it will shut the government down in terms of trust. Oh, they say I can't.
It said the likes of Stan Dugbemo, Dr. Randy Abemo, and those days, the Speaker of Parliament, Agban Suman Agbabin, complaining, say these were people he couldn't even get access to the President John Mahama, and these are the same people. So no more no more call campaign grounds, So do you think this man will be able to say the likes of Stan Dugbe, the likes of Randy Abemo, not to mention a lot of names, I mean, do you think he can still Sankofu me no munya adwuma and answer ebia obetuni amaya adwuma, but then the direction and advice will be different this time?
I think that Abraham Abo in this way he became a victim of unfortunate circumstance because you see this gentleman not on hold position. He had a personal relationship with President Mahama. So on that particular score, yen to me can't because obiat or kind of us of an adamful. Relationship with people, it has nothing to do. So I think that out of political propaganda, and now man for saying him because he didn't hold any official position. You understand? So as to whether Sana or stopping people from President Mahama, there are no data or any fact to back that. So that particular way, I just want to throw it away. But the American say, make about people officially, or my position. Who worked with him and his government. What I say? Korandiabe didn't hold any position. He was just a friend. Meboa.
Oh yes, yes. The evidence will be the same. Could you talk black one? Omuko a year car wash who 20 years car womu boot. These are the people.
So omu hold official position. No more bindum. Free say near my back could be on my anye ye no. You can't throw everybody away. But what I'm saying is that roles are different. A dozen. There are those you have to bring to the mainstream, and they become the poster of the government architecture. So what I'm saying is that when people see a lot of the old faces in this picture frame now, then speaking to them say is the old narrative now never. Say government take it off. Not a trust go downward. One share and that is why I'm saying is that I like the American system where old government back. Trump's away nipa na mulidi Trump campaign in in 2016. Or different from the people who managed his campaign this time around. Put different people. Because you see, politics in the side that whenever you bring in new faces, you bring in new constituency. Because everybody that comes on board, it's like a chain. They bring in new additions and then so you widen the scope. So I think these are Nema as just to ensure say public trust, obetimi I hold it on, not new fresh ideas. And I make there are several ways you can reimburse people but when it comes to sensitive position, you should know how to go about, because that is the mistake Akuffo Addo did. He rewarded loyalties instead of people with expertise, the intellectual wit, the competence, the knowledge, and the expertise to fix a country. So when you fix lawyers in your government, their allegiance is to you, the president, not to the people, not to the constitution, not to the flag. But the allegiance shouldn't be to the man who appointed you. It should be to the constitution, to the people, and to the flag of this country. And that is the kind of gentleman you need. And whenever who said because you don't have that personal kind of attachment, emotional attachment in it, you are able to hold them accountable. But if you are emotionally entangled and intertwined in one way or the other, Dr. Ren, because see no, and you become compromised and you can't do. But unfortunately for any president going forward, public, I say among spectators, BMO.
They're citizens.
Yes. No, they are not spectators. Yes. They are pro-partakers in whatever that is going on. Now, my culture say, you need consumers of news. You are prosumers. Because we make news and we consume at the same time. Because anybody with the capacity to go to social media and post, you are a pro-consumer, because you are producing and at the same time consuming. Sana politics, and then you need spectators or we are part of the government frame, because Twitter alone can stop government initiative. Facebook alone, post a man for can stop government from doing certain things. And the church said the scope has widened. So it is no longer about you, the party that voted for you, individuals around you. No, you need to have a bigger focus, a bigger picture, all inclusive. You make sure that you're able to enlist people with the wit, intelligence, to fix. Because at this point, Ghana is a broken country. You need people who can come out with ideas. And I think that ultimately establish a hub, people can think. All that they need to do is to think and come out with solutions. Some like a think tank, a solution think tank. Young people, all that they do is to eat, sleep, and think.
So which means the likes of yourself, Oliver Bakavomawo, myself, and Kofubi to say Franklin Kujo, a lot of Ghanaians are both home and abroad. This is the time they should try and come up with some a friend is a hub beer. People will throw in their solutions, and then it's up to the government to pick up the solutions, run with it to fix the country.
I think that a private sector initiative, the government might not, maybe they can decide not to take you serious. But if the president Nankasa take it as an initiative. This is a national undertaking. And me say omefa ubi omefa we and also omefa we.
More or less like a national call.
Yes, Ghana not the how watra. There are a lot of intelligent young people. You know there ABI and but there are a lot of intelligent people out there, a pool of them. How you can identify people, put them together. All that they do, eat, sleep, and think. Help you. Sabaya ubiti our structure. Because you see, and then Nimdiana yedibu or mine, and Tim Panimfon Quantimo. You need to, your friends, allow younger generation participation in the governance architecture. Their voices must be heard. Or inclusive. Because when you say, Dr. Red, Ujina Hona wa Nema Uhuno. Ebi our former Uhu. At our level, no, there are certain things we see or be a when you know, and at the agenda. So if you include young people, at the end of the day, you are able to see everywhere. I have a friend who is a professor. Any major decision be a person take it be no obe frame and ajo very late now discuss it with me. What be say Adentina nipa na professor onim life change me wanyini aduru ba bia but o take a decision me akra keto ametie. Why would the person call me? The reason they say babi ojina no ojina soro e form name no bi o ha ohun. So the person is listening from your perspective where you are no. How do you see this thing? Sebe ye betimi am nya bi asem na wo kan nya se bi wo kan ma na fa wo. Ba wo kan ma na guide no. In a broader picture no, the decision no how to go. What asem na me kan say?
Yeah.